Here, that's actually a good question. So here's the thing. Killer Instinct isn't just like, is this character good? It's also, is this character's game plan hella obtuse? And that's like a completely different thing because characters in KI are quite literally given game plans. You can alter that game plan for sure. You can change things. How hard is that to do? How long will that take to understand? That's actually a good question. So here's the thing. Game plans that are relatively easy to figure out and understand. I'd say Jago's is like out of 10. How hard is it? If it's like a grade scale, Jago's is like a B, right? Sort of, you could figure him out. But understanding the fireball thing and all that shit, understanding his frame data, that takes a lot. He's one of the easier characters to learn how to play, but he's like a B, right? And like A is like super easy to learn game plan. Saberwolf, super easy, bro. He's an A. You can get around playing this character, doing the simplest stuff and do super well. So Saberwolf is like an A. A out of 10. Glacius is like a C. It'll take you some time. He's a bit weird, right? Thunder's like a B+, pretty easy to learn. Pretty easy. He just does a shit ton of damage, and his game plan's pretty straightforward. Shadow Jago is a C, probably in the same vein as Glacius. This character's weird, man. And he's very fun, but he's hard to get used to. Sadira is probably a B. Pretty easy. You jump around and do shit. Orchids is pretty simple as well. Also a B, but it just isn't, like, hasn't been his super effective historically. Spinals is fucking weird. Spinals is like a D. If you want to be actually good with Spinal and utilize all of his good shit, he gets like a D. Not super easy to play. I argue Fulgore's the same way. Maybe not now. Actually, maybe even more than before. Fulgore is like a D. You can be good with him, but getting used to this shit, he doesn't play the same game the rest of the characters do, and you gotta get used to shit. Same shit for Aria. Aria's like a D in terms of, like, figuring shit out. Like, how long does it take to figure this character out? It's like a D, man. It'll take you a while. Cinder's an F. Cinder's the fattest F. What the hell do you even do with this character? What do you even do? It'll take you months to even get good at actual air conversions and the good ones that are not easily readable and breakable. He's an F. Fat ass F. Hisako is probably a C. Game plan's pretty straightforward, but actually being good at it is kind of weird because her mobility is so bad. So bad outside of like forward dashing. So getting the hang of that's pretty rough. Aganos is like a D. Actually being good with Aganos is rough. This character's hard to maintain, hard to figure out, but he's cool because he's a big rock boy. Omen's like the same shit. Omen's like a D. Random fireballs, like random projectiles. It feels like controlling Omen is trying to peel the wings off a fly. You're trying so hard just to get this shit figured out, and this character feels like you're never in control. Omen's like a D. Yeah, controlling a tornado. Riptor's probably a B. Pretty straightforward, but there's a lot to her. It's a B. Conra is a D. I'd say Conra can be a bit easier to play than some of the others. Conra is like a D. This shit's hard. This will take you a little while. Maya's probably a B as well. Probably a B. I'd say maybe a B minus, you know? She's not as easy as Saberwolf, that's for sure. TJ's kind of hard. I'd say he's like a C. You know what? No, I'd say TJ's a B because if you just do punchline, command grab, you're opening people up, dude. You're doing like crazy target combo ender. That shit's working against 99% of the players. Yeah, this isn't a tier list in terms of are the characters good. This is a list. This is a grade on how easy are they to play. If you're about to start off, this is like how difficult is this shit. And yeah, TJ's like probably like a B. Kilgore is an F. Take you a fucking year to figure out how to get good at this shit. You know, especially when he was new. Take you like a year. Spinal's like a D. He's hard. Kim Woo's kind of easy, I think. Either a C+ or a B-, but her game plan's a little obtuse. Figuring out the dragons and how to manage all that shit and what it's good at and all that kind of stuff. So I want like a C+ or a B-. Tusk, I'd argue, is an A. Tusk is pretty friggin' easy to be good with. Things just sort of get done with this guy, which is why I usually gravitate towards him when I'm relearning KI every time. Arbiter's a B for sure. Pretty easy character to use. Game plan's pretty straightforward. You know, very fun. Rash is also a B, you know, until you get really good at juggle stuff with him, properly utilizing the tongue effectively, you know, converting with him well. He's a B, probably a B plus. Shin Hisako is a D. Not as hard as Fulgore, but pretty freaking difficult character to be good with. I'd argue Mira isn't a D. She's like a C minus because you easily see what your shit is good for, right? This is a character where it's like super obvious what's good on her. It's just that, oh, I'm killing myself while doing it. So I don't think she's like in an F territory or even like a D territory like Fulgore and stuff. She still plays the game. It's just, it takes a while. So it's like a C minus, but you clearly see, oh, I land a hit. They're toast, bro. Like they are super toast. So figuring out how to play Mira is like C minus in my opinion. Gargos is also a C. You clearly see what's good. It's just that none of it does a lot of damage. And you see what the minions are good for, but becoming eventually good with that stuff is hard. But there's a lot of abusable shit that's pretty easy to start with, at least, you know? I'd argue General Rom is maybe, he's a command grab character, but he's hard as fuck, dude. He's like a D+. This guy isn't super straightforward. Like, you need to know, like, frame data and shit, right? Like, inherently, you need to know what timing is appropriately and have a good idea what's positive, what's negative, and just that alone. He's a big frame data character, at least in my opinion. I think he's like a D+, because you obviously get big damage and shit. I'd say it's the C rank for Idol. Very fun character. You see what's powerful. It just doesn't do a ton of damage, right? It doesn't do a lot, but I think Idol's around C, right? Around a C. Eagle has historically been, you know, is different now, so I don't know, but I'd say before he was also a C because you knew the game plan. But if we're talking like year one Eagle, this character was likely a D- in terms of like, how do you play this shit? Like, how do you actually get good with this character? Long story short, a lot of characters in KI are sort of inherently difficult to just figure out what their game plan is and be good at it without an inherent huge knowledge of existing system mechanics and how the game works and how other characters work and shit. What would work good against this character in this situation? Oh, well, this character's crazy gimmick is probably super good for that. You have to play the shit out of the game. You have to play a lot of Killer Instinct to get to that point. But that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that like half the characters in the cast are actually relatively difficult to play. Like, relatively difficult to play. So new players play Cinder or Fulgore. Definitely not. Not recommended. Somebody was asking me, it's like, hey, I'm jumping into KI, and I really like the way Fulgore looks. I've never played the game before. Should I play Fulgore? And I was like, do yourself a huge favor. Please do yourself a favor. Do not play Fulgore. Whatever you do, do not, never, do not. Give yourself 6 months of playing this game before you even look at Fulgore. Do not do that to yourself. Do not. Unless you're just looking for a challenge. If you're just looking for shit to be hard, then Fulgore's your man. He's your man, man. He's gonna be burning your ass out and fake teleporting your ass all over the place and OTGing fire bullet shit. What the fuck is going on?